Good afternoon. President Call, Vice President Steele, Vice President Hartigan, department chairs, faculty, family, friends, and the graduating class of spring 2012. My name is Patricia Burke, and I am a professor in the Department of Nursing. I will be your Mistress of Ceremonies today. The nursing graduates request that all cell phones be turned off during the ceremony. On behalf of the Student Nurses Association, we welcome you to this celebration. Welcome, graduates, Spring 2012. Will the audience please rise for the national anthem and remain standing for the invocation? The national anthem will be led by Jennifer Marguerite Lours and Rousseland Jean-Charles.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing while Professor Alex Tarasco from the Department of Nursing will lead us in the invocation.
This is the prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring a spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony, that where there is error, I may bring truth, that where there is doubt, I may bring faith, that where there is despair, I may bring hope, that where there are shadows, I may bring light, and that where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds, it is by forgiving that one is forgiven, it is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen.
Thank you, Alex. Will the audience please be seated? Graduates, please be seated. It is now my great honor to introduce Dr. Diane Call, President of Queensborough Community College.
Thank you, and welcome. Welcome all the families and friends, our amazing faculty, and all the staff who are here to say congratulations. Congratulations on extraordinary accomplishments. In any year at Queensborough, several thousand students hope to study in our nursing program, but fewer than 100 are accepted into the clinical courses. You were, a couple of years ago. At times it must have seemed impossible, but you earned acceptance into NU 101. Your journey through semesters of clinical study took at least 2 years, and today, 74 of you have successfully completed the degree program. We tested you, and you tested yourselves. You sacrificed in small and insignificant ways to reach your goal. as have your family and friends who supported you and encouraged you, and who now celebrate with your success. Community colleges represent opportunities through access to higher education, and so many students, certainly this spring 2012 class of nursing graduates, came to Queensborough to realize the dream of a better life. Diversity is the hallmark of our college. 159 countries are represented at Queensborough. You certainly represent diversity in many ways. The majority of the students in this graduating class were born outside the United States, in Africa, Southeast Asia, India, Pakistan, Eastern and Western Europe, the Caribbean, Central and South America, and the Middle East. And men are, as you can see, very well represented in this group at, there we go. Good for you. Our graduates are twice the national average of male graduates, and we congratulate you. Your academic beginnings were also diverse. Some of you began as English language learners. Some returned to school after working or creating families. Some were very, very book smart, and some began with an amazing instinct for the health profession. However, you really have more in common than you have differences. Each and every one of you has demonstrated a determination to realize your goal of service in the health profession. You persisted, moving forward no matter what the challenges. You have all made significant personal sacrifices to reach this point, and they were shared by family and friends. And as evident in your success, you have achieved academic excellence. This is an extraordinarily talented group. You came together as strangers, but forged partnerships and often special friendships with your classmates as you studied all those theories, and you went to the clinic and applied your knowledge in real life, and sometimes in death. You developed strong personal values and professional ethics under the guidance of your very special faculty who mentored you. Most of all, you came to understand that you make a difference in people's lives. You experienced personal and professional growth, but surely each of you at some point felt some anxious moments, some uncertainty staring at those questions on the exams, and you know never change that, right? And perhaps you experienced moments of despair. There must have been many times when surviving the nursing program must have seemed quite impossible. But you were also comforted by one another and supported by an extraordinary faculty, staff, and friends who share to stay with you. So this day is not an end, it's a commencement. And in the tradition of your profession, you will go on to acquire more knowledge and skills and discover even greater talents within yourself. Through your journey, please remember to maintain your friendships. They will sustain you in good and in challenging times. Retain your curiosity for knowledge and remain open to new ideas. Take time for and take care of yourself. Something Maureen Wallace always recommended, and I have to continue her tradition. Certainly always think of Queensborough as your family. Graduates, you can now look at yourselves, and rather than seeing your dreams as impossible, you can believe I'm possible. What a difference a contraction and 2 years makes. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Cole. Those words were absolutely beautiful and true. I would now like to introduce the chairperson of the Department of Nursing, Professor Anne-Marie Menendez.
Good afternoon. Congratulations, graduates. How wonderful it must feel to celebrate after all the hard work and sacrifices you have made to get to this point. I know many of you have juggled family responsibilities and work, many even full-time. We applaud you for your determination and fortitude. We often speak in education of the opportunity to change lives through teaching. As educators, we believe we influence our students through books, reading, writing, and reflection. We utilize the latest technology to augment our lessons. We incorporate service learning to address local needs while developing academic skills and fostering a commitment to the community. All this to mold you into the nurse who will meet the needs of patients and families in a highly complex healthcare arena. But as you leave Queensborough, one of the most important teachers has yet to present themselves. That is your future patients. Indeed, your patients will teach you many valuable lessons and will inform who you are and who, more honestly, you will become. You will care for people when they enter the world and notice that although their entrances are similar, their paths can be quite different. You will care for patients who recover health and those that do not. You will notice the choices that they've made and how they respond to their health challenges. You will see patients suffer both physically and mentally and wonder how some of them are so very strong and others need much support and encouragement. And you will see people at the end of life and listen as they review their past and long for the future. You will hear of their accomplishments and failures. You will notice who is at the bedside of your patients and who is not. You will be privy to their deepest fears and biggest regrets. You will share their most joyful moments. When I look back on my patients, I notice how their stories have influenced my story. I notice how I have become more patient, more hopeful, more grateful. I have shared their stories to teach you lessons. Now you will hear your own stories and create your own lessons. There is a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher presents themselves. As you begin your practice of nursing, my wish for you is that your teachers are many, your lessons are meaningful, and that you are ready. Congratulations, I wish you the best.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Now I would like to introduce my esteemed colleague, Professor Janice Malloy of the Nursing Department, who will give, I was told, a short, sweet, and brief congratulatory address.
Good afternoon, President Call, Vice President Hartigan, Vice President Steele, distinguished nursing faculty, graduates, family, and friends. The graduating class of spring 2012 is an awe-inspiring group of young women and men, and it is truly my pleasure to be able to address them. These students have worked tirelessly with great sacrifice and dedication, weaving their way through the many requirements needed for a successful completion. As one student said to me several weeks ago, "I never worked so hard to get just mediocre grades." That's a true statement, and that's how hard they work here. The commitment and dedication will continue as they enter employment in the field of healthcare. The following are suggestions on how to maintain their personal wellness and happiness during this exciting new beginning. It's Professor Malloy's personal nurturing from A to Z. Everybody listen. A, accept yourself. B, believe in what you do. C, cardiac output. Okay? Keep it varied, up and down. D, discover something new every day. E, empower yourself to always do the right thing. F, face your fears. They will go away. G, give generously. H, honor this noble profession that you are now entering. I, indulge. You deserve it. J, journal often. K, keep learning for yourself, for your patients, forever. L, laugh out loud. It's okay. M, maintain your wellness. The patients need you. N, nurture your spirit of kindness. O, open your heart. P, pray often. Q, quiet your mind, especially after a difficult day. R, revisit, redefine, and re-examine your nursing practice. S, smile at the patients. They're just as nervous as you guys are. T, trust yourself. U, use your gifts and talents wisely. V, vent your emotions. W, my favorite, work hard, play hard. X, accentuate your positive. Y, yes to overtime. Z, for zest, bring it with you each and every working day. Nurses leave a lasting impression on their patients, and please remember that they may forget your name, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Now we are going to begin our traditional candlelighting ceremony. As all the lights in the auditorium will be dimmed, we ask that you remain in your seats. We also ask that you hold your applause until all the graduates' names have been called. The graduates have chosen Audrey Maroney and Barbara Caravanos from the nursing department to light their candles. Simon Ulubabov. Alexander Grivas. Orlette Johnson. Jacqueline Weber. Ivorine Johnson. Hamza Rehman. Franz Richard Matthew. Steve Prasad. Jennifer Davis. Carissa Townsend. Jelani Campbell. Michael Aranella. John F. Civitello. Wayne France. Mark Ricketts. Vasilisa Boroviva. Jessica Sade. Lynn Z. Dolores Warren. Celisa Jerry. Natasha Berry. Valerie Reynard. Luann Satina, Yomeri Mercado, Jacqueline Eckhouse, Marcia Brown Moody, Miwoji Sina, Navin Chetram, Ken Riley, Justin Lee, Russell Guerrera, Adrian Jeffrey Anastasio, Rousseland Jean Charles, Thomasine Thomas, Usha Chakaran, Shazida Chintamani, Lori Luce, Marlucy Scarpati, Pamela G. Rashid, Kimberly Delgado, Gloria Tello, Melissa Anzalone, Elizabeth Ichikov, Lauren Wiseman, Katarina Hughes, Stavrula Maliaru, Laura Pfister, Chuna Eisenberg, Angie Lee, Angie Alvarez, Johanna Fiorucci, Lizette Rodriguez, Gila Lieber, Aileen Lise Rabel, Elizabeth Ayoko, Nara Colasso, Sukhjinder Niji, Yanka Benitez, Linda Chukwu, Indrani Budnarine, Marcia Prashad, Nadira Etwaru, Lai Ching Karen Wong. Stephanie Ramdal. Amy Gao. Saldia Foster. Saldia S. Foster. Kimberly A. Brown. Jennifer Kempton Marcelino. Jennifer M. Lures. Juliana Baxley. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of spring 2012. Congratulations! We're going to have more time. We're going to have more time for applause. All right. We still have the pinning to go, so. Right now, the Nurses Pledge is going to be led by 3 members of the Student Nurses Association. Kimberly Brown, First Vice President, Saldia S. Foster, Treasurer, and Jennifer Kempton Marcelino, Senator.
I will strive with all my being, and with the help of God, to become an open, honest, kind, and diversified individual. In doing so, I will attain the qualities essential in the practice of nursing. For it is only after realizing one's self-worth we are able to promote that of others. Deliverance of high-quality health care is of essential importance. But let us also reach beyond treatment or diagnosis. And remember that entrusted to my care is a human being, with all the loves, hates, fears, and idiosyncrasies that are an integral part of the human species. Let me not grow too comfortable in my knowledge, but actively seek out new information or continuance of my education. Being a nurse requires continuous growth. I dedicate myself to this cause and my life to the profession of nursing.
Okay, graduates, please extinguish your candles. Graduates, please be seated. At this time, I'm going to call to the stage the President of the Student Nurses Association, Jennifer Marguerite Lures, for the farewell address.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome Queensborough's Interim President, Diane B. Call, Nursing Chairperson, Anne Marie Menendez, Vice President for Student Affairs, Ellen Hartigan, Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Karen Steele, faculty and staff, and family and friends to our Spring 2012 candle lighting and pinning ceremony. Many of you sitting here tonight may be familiar with the old adage, when giving a speech to combat any nerves, it's helpful to picture your audience in their underwear. Since this is a nursing school graduation, I've decided that it would be far more appropriate to picture you all in nursing gowns with the backs untied. Now that that's out of the way, I'd like to start by saying how extremely grateful I am to be standing here with each and every one of my classmates. Our journey here at Queensborough is finally complete. Congratulations, class of spring 2012. First and foremost, I would like to sincerely thank the nursing faculty and staff for the guidance and dedication that you have shown to us. As the English author Samuel Johnson once said, "He that teaches us anything which we knew not before is undoubtedly to be reverenced as a master." You are most definitely masters. You have taught us countless technical skills, such as performing sterile dressing changes, solid technique when giving injections, and how to properly insert a Foley catheter. You can imagine how happy we were when we found out that we would not be practicing these skills on each other, and instead on our very lifelike simulation models. Most importantly, though, you have taught us the true meaning of what it is to be a nurse. To be a nurse means to be a team player, detail-oriented, and hardworking. It is to be a quick and critical thinking with great judgment, phenomenal communication skills, and the physical endurance of Superman or woman. Lastly, you have shown us the meaning of empathy. An empathetic nurse is one that knows that sometimes just being silent and present with a patient who needs to cry is just as important as any medical regime. Most of all, an empathetic nurse is one who takes his or her profession seriously, with patients' precious lives in their hands, double checks their work, truly advocates for their patients, and delivers safe, professional care that is centered on the whole person. You have taught us that nursing is neither a job nor a task to be done, but a service to others to ensure that each person who comes into our care has the best quality of life possible. For this, we thank you. To our friends and family, there aren't enough words to thank you for your unwavering support and encouragement. Thank you for being the voices of reason during each and every near-nervous breakdown that came the night before yet another exam. Thank you for understanding as we put things such as socializing and even laundry and cooking on hold. You have been such an important part of our journey. You have been there to offer a shoulder to cry on after a hard day and a source of constant support. We are standing here today in part because of you. Thank you for always telling us you can do this. And finally, we owe a huge thank you to each other. I'm sure no one standing here today would deny the fact that completing nursing school is no easy task. Without each other, this journey would definitely have not been quite as enjoyable or fruitful. Together, we learned that whether in NU 101, NU 102, NU 201, or NU 202, if wash your hands is an optional answer on an exam, choose it. The answer is always wash your hands. The answers are never yes, no, always, never, or absolute bed rest. We've learned not to look for zebras in a pasture full of horses, and we found ourselves saying, "It depends," in response to nursing questions more often than not. We've learned not to defib before fibbing, before you check the leads. We've learned that every free surface in our homes is an appropriate place to store our numerous nursing textbooks and 592-slide OB PowerPoints. We've collectively wished that normal saline could be substituted with coffee and used to get us through just one more chapter in our 10.5-pound, 2,368-page medical surgical textbook with limited pictures. The bonds that we have formed here will undoubtedly last a lifetime. May we always be no more than a late-night phone call or a coffee date away from each other as we start this next chapter as newly registered nurses. In December of last year, nurses maintained their dominance atop Gallup's annual poll of trustworthy professions, topping the list for the 12th time in the 13 years that they have been included as an option. This poll surveyed randomized people from all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. As we continue to pursue our bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees, may we never forget our beginnings here at Queensborough and the oath we've taken today. May we always be expanding upon our current skills and knowledge in the pursuit of providing the most skillful and compassionate care possible, so that we can ensure that we always maintain the trust of the individuals that we care for. In the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Congratulations, graduates. We did it.
Thank you, Jennifer. The following professors of nurses have been chosen to present the pins: Professor Margaret Stroline, Professor Patricia Burke, Professor Janice Malloy, and Professor Regina Cardesi. But I would also we have a very special guest of honor here today, and I would like to invite our honored guest, Joyce Monteleone, to come to the stage, a graduate of our nursing program 38 years ago. Joyce had always wanted to be a nurse, but life got in the way. When her father passed away, her dream had to be on hold as she helped support her family. She took night classes at City College to study accounting, met her husband Frank, and had 3 children. After her mother's death, and with her husband's support, she enrolled at Queensborough Community College nursing program in 1971. Since graduating from the nursing program in 1974, Joyce has enjoyed a rich and varied career, retiring after 30 years' service in the visiting VNS. In Joyce's words, "I had the finest science and nursing providers that provided me with the opportunity to fulfill a life's dream." And after 38 years, she's come back onto the stage to pin one of our nursing graduates. I think they deserve a standing ovation. Whoa! We also want to thank the incoming president of the SNA, Beverly McLean, and the student volunteers who helped make this celebration a great occasion. I would also like to thank Julia Lovett-Sergi for providing the music, and a special thank you to our graduate student, Juliana Baxley, on the violin. Thank you all for coming, and please join us for refreshments outside at the plaza. Another cheer.